outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello everyone and welcome to Country with Celine. I am your host, Celine Shamarky, and on today's episode, we welcome Hayden Haddock.
Band play a honky-tonk song, two-step a hole in the soles of these old boots. Y'all look out, you better hang on. I'm about to get my doggone honky-tonk on.
Hayden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking. Now, for the viewers that are joining in on Country with Celine today, this is new to them because this does not exist. Usually it's a plain backdrop in one of my rooms at my house. But I mean, we're going to try something different today. So if you guys see my teeth as brown or my nails as brown, it is because of the backdrop. Just saying, just putting that out there. But I mean, it's still cool. It's still cool. How do you like it, Hayden? It's good?
It's working. It's working.
It's working. You know, we're going to make it work. Okay, so now, Hayden, you've pretty much established yourself as kind of a staple in the Texas music country scene. And in the past year, you've had 2 singles reach the top 10 on the Texas country charts, recently named the 2021 New Male Vocalist of the Year at the Texas Regional Radio Report Awards. So as a Texas boy yourself, how special is this for you?
Yeah, it's all been awesome. And you know, I only started doing this music thing about 4 years ago, something like that. And so it's pretty crazy how fast everything's moved. And, you know, for a lot of people that, you know, getting those things you just mentioned can take you know, quite a bit longer than 4 years. So it's been really cool to see it all move fast. And then, like you said, growing up here and all that stuff obviously makes it a little bit more sweet. But hopefully those were the first of many achievements to come. That's the hope.
Yes, no, of course. That's something that I was actually going to touch on. And since you brought it up, let's just talk about it right now. So you started this music career 4 years ago. So what was it that made you realize, you know what, I want to pursue a country music career?
Yeah, really, it wasn't anything specific, I guess. I learned to play the guitar when I was 14. I think I'd seen Eric Church open for Kenny Chesney. And I remember there was something about watching Eric Church that I went home and I told my family that I wanted to take guitar lessons. And so I did, and took a few months of guitar lessons. And then basically for years and years, I never played the guitar, and singing wasn't even in the picture then. My family would just ask to hear me play the guitar, and I was too shy to play them a chord or whatever. And then basically I got down to Texas A&M for my freshman year of college. Here in College Station. And, you know, as a lot of the stories go, I was talking to a young lady at the time, dating her. And my roommate, who was one of my best friends from high school, he wanted to embarrass me. And young lady came over and he said something about, well, you know, Hayden can sing and play the guitar. And so my face turned bright red. And after about 30 minutes of arguing, I ended up playing and singing for the first time ever. And my roommate, he recorded it on, you know, Snapchat or whatever, and put it out there. And then about a month and a half later, I played my very first show, and then been doing it ever since. So
everything happens for a reason. I
exactly
believe that. And you know what? It's honestly so hard, though, to play in front of people. Like, I mean, I give you guys credit for that because I could never. And I mean, you started out that way, but you got over that fear of yours, which is awesome. And you have to if you want to be a musician because you're constantly playing for people. But that's an awesome story. And Eric Church, wow. You know, funny enough, you said that. I was supposed to go to his concert in January, but it got postponed because of COVID. So like, that's great. But I'm excited.
Well, I hope you get to see him sometime soon.
Yes. Oh, hopefully. Well, after that, I mean, like what you just explained, I'm excited to see, you know, Eric Church. That would be my first time seeing him. So
I know. I would like to go back and see him, you know, because when I saw him, it was back. I mean, if I was 14, that was a long time ago. That was back in his like real Chief days, like when he still wore the ball cap and, you know, the long scraggly hair and all that stuff. So I'd like to go see him again sometime.
Yeah, no, he's aged very nicely. Let's just so let's talk about your latest album. So Red Dirt, Texas. What inspired this album?
Yeah, that album was just basically I started working with my producer now manager Trent Willman. I'd gone down there and basically we just knew it was time to start writing some songs, and that was kind of my first intro into writing with people in Nashville and getting into Nashville. It was actually my first trip to Nashville.
Oh, wow.
And and so I met up with Trent and we ended up writing. We wrote "Where You Come In." And so that would have been the first song basically that was going to go on Red Dirt, Texas. So I guess that was kind of the base of that record was "Where You Come In." And then that after we wrote that's when Trent asked, about him possibly producing the next record. And obviously I said yes. And then after that, the songs really just started falling in line. Me and Trent wrote a bunch of songs. I did a lot of co-writing with people. I think I wrote on about half the songs on that record, so 5, and then Trent would just start playing me demos of stuff he'd either written, with other people or stuff that had gotten pitched to him and whatnot. And so all of it just kind of fell in line. But we tried to basically just obviously make sure everything was really genuine, and especially if I didn't write it, it was at least something I could relate to, or something that's happened to me, something like that. And anyways, I think we ended up doing a pretty good job. I think we've had, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 singles we put out to radio and pushed and all that stuff off that record. And they all did relatively well. And then we had a couple that just got picked up and kind of blew up on Spotify on different playlists. So I think that record, I think we did an all right job with it.
And now, are you on TikTok as well?
So yes, I am on TikTok, but I get crap all the time because I'm not a very good TikToker.
Okay.
So I was actually thinking, I know I've got time after me and you get done tonight that I might sit down and try and do something. And I forget that it's there, honestly. So
it is so helpful for artists, like musicians,
oh,
but
yeah.
like anybody else as well. But I mean, like if you were to put your songs out on there, they'll just take off. So you better get started on TikTok, Hayden. After this interview is done, you've got to start.
All right, I will.
And now, just talking about some songs of yours, what would you say is your all-time favorite song that you've put out? If you can pick one, because I mean, like, I think it'd be really hard.
That is a tough one. That's a tough question. Because they're all my favorite, right?
Okay.
No, probably the song I think I've been most excited about was actually my latest single that we put out, "Better Than Your Memory," and mainly just because it's straight up 90s. It's that 90s shuffle, and if anybody knows one thing about me, it's that I'm a traditionalist when it comes to country music. I try to keep that kind of 90s vibe alive. Mm-hmm. And I think that song, obviously, you can't, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that that's country music. So probably Better Than Your Memory.
I was just going to say, in your songs, you can hear the traditional country in them. And I mean, I think of George Strait, Clay Walker, even Alan Jackson when I listen to your stuff. So are those your influences, or is there other artists out there that are your influences?
Yeah, definitely those 90s guys are, I guess, my main influence. Like you said, I love Clay Walker. Just went and saw him for my birthday, actually, at Billy Bob's here in Texas. That was fun. But yeah, Alan Jackson, obviously George Strait. Everybody loves George Strait. Trying to think, Tracy Lawrence. I mean, really any of that 90s stuff, it's hard to go wrong with. And then obviously nowadays, you have guys like Cody Johnson who are kind of doing the old traditionalist thing. You've got Jon Pardi who's doing a great job. And then, some other Texas guys, Randall King, and he's starting to really blow up. He's, got his record deal and really making a mark now. And yeah, so there's a bunch of those guys like that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of all over the board. And then of course, love people, Luke Combs. I mean, all those Eric Church, obviously, so it kind of comes from all over, but I'd say mainly it's the 90s thing.
It's nice when newer artists are kind of sticking to the roots of the traditional country rather than just going completely pop country nowadays. Because, I mean, it's nice to have that variety where you can either listen to the pop country, even there's rap country too, which is so odd. But, I mean, I'm here for it. And then the traditional country too. So I love how you sound. I'll just put it like that. I really love
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And now, dream collaboration. Any of those folks that you just mentioned, or maybe somebody else that you haven't mentioned?
Yeah, Dream collaboration. That, yeah, definitely George Strait. Yeah, pretty much what I was mentioning. George Strait, Clay Walker, and then obviously Cody Johnson would be a really good one. So
that was my dog, if you heard that.
it's okay. Mine's sitting right there, and I've been waiting on him to bark this whole time. So I feel you. Don't worry.
If he doesn't bark during this interview, something is wrong. And now, Hayden, you have been on multiple TV. You've made multiple TV appearances. So do you ever get like nervous when you make those appearances? Because I mean, like, yes, you're a musician and you play in front of live crowds in an audience, but like, I feel like TV is just a completely different world sometimes, because it's like a camera and you and millions watching, essentially. So do you ever like get nervous when that happens?
Yeah, actually, I haven't done the TV thing in a while. At the kind of trying to think, probably about a year after me doing the whole music thing, year and a half, that I started doing a bunch of news channels and stuff like that. And then I did something for the NFR in Vegas, but yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but I definitely remember, for whatever reason, yes, I would get extremely nervous for those. And it wasn't even so much the fact that, I knew there was a bunch of people watching. I think it was just more like, you know, most of the time for us, when we show up to a venue or whatever, we have time to like sound check, and then you have time to chill before the show and kind of acclimate to everything. And there, it's like you show up and no one really cares who you are or what you're there for, because you're on their schedule, and everything moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And then they kind of just like throw you in front of the camera, and they're like, plug your guitar in, and then 3, 2, 1, go. So it's like, it all happens in a split second. I don't roll like that. I don't like it. So I remember getting very nervous for all that.
I don't roll like that. I don't like it. I love that. Honestly, yes, television can be very hectic and overwhelming for lots of people, including myself. Yeah. Because I mean, as soon as someone shoves a camera in my face and says, okay, 3, 2, 1, action, it's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? But that's completely understandable. And now let's just talk more about your childhood. So you transitioned into the music career, like you were saying, 4 years ago. Now, did your parents grow up? Are they musically inclined, or did they grow up listening to country music?
Yeah, none of them are really musically inclined, as far as I know. My grandfather, I know when he was in college, I think he played like trumpet in a jazz band or something like that. But that's about the only musical influence I know about in my family. And other than that, yes, they did grow up listening to country music. I remember my dad was a big Randy Travis fan. A lot of people would say he looked like him. I didn't see it, but hey, But I remember listening to Randy Travis, and then so my dad always kind of had that stuff on, George Strait, stuff like that. And then I remember my brother, one of my older brothers, he was kind of the one I would always ride around before I got my license with, and he was the one who kind of got me turned on to like Tracy Lawrence and all that kind of stuff. So my brother was a big influence on the music side as well.
Maybe there's like a hidden talent that you don't know about. Like, I mean, you never know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll send you all their phone numbers and you can call and ask them.
Okay, I'm more than happy to do that. And now just more on a serious type of note, you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at a young age, and now you work with several organizations to talk about the disease and spread awareness. Now, why is this so important for you?
Yeah, mainly just because, like you said, got diagnosed at about 8 years old. So it's been a while now, actually. And anyways, and I just know at the beginning, I remember there was so many, people and different organizations and all this stuff where basically, they were helping you as a young kid getting diagnosed with this disease, and you're having to learn how to take shots and all, everything a kid doesn't like. And then, so then as I kind of got older, and then obviously got in this music thing, and as I've started kind of building somewhat of a platform for myself to be able to talk about things or whatever, I just figured it was something obviously extremely personal and close to me. And if there's a way for me to give back and help out other kids or other people with type 1 diabetes, then that's what I would like to do. We were kind of raised to help other people and help where you can. And so I just figured this was a great thing. So yeah, so the main one we help out is JDRF, and they were the biggest ones at the beginning. That helped me out. They're the ones that have all these programs and whatnot you can go to, and so yeah, we have a whole merch line actually where percentage of the proceeds go back to JDRF and helping that stuff out. And we've done a couple shows. Actually, we had one canceled because when COVID hit, but we're hoping to get some more stuff lined up to support that.
Now, speaking of that, you said merch. Where could people go if listening to this right now and they want to buy some merch so the proceeds go there? Where should they go?
Yeah, so the easiest thing to find anything about me is my website, which is haydenhaddock.com. And that has links to all of our merchandise, which there is a ton, I promise. And that'll have shows, links to music, everything you could possibly want to know at haydenhaddock.com.
Well, that is the place to look up, everybody listening. And now, Hayden, before I let you go, we're going to play a little game here. I mean, this is kind of unusual. I've never done this one before, but I mean, hey, there's first for everything, and we're going to test it out with Hayden. So we're going to test your American knowledge. Okay?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord is correct. Okay, you ready? I have a couple questions. Answer them the best you can, okay? So the first
All
one.
right.
How many states are in the USA?
50.
Okay. How many, that was correct, by the way, obviously. How many people are in the USA? What's the population?
Someone was just talking about this.
Very high.
I'm trying to remember how many people are in the whole world. Before I answer that question, I don't know. Isn't it like? It's high. I don't know. I'm gonna go like one. No, I don't know. That's tough.
Come on, any number. Come on.
All right, we'll just go 1 billion. I don't know.
1 billion people in the States? Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
So the correct answer is 329 million.
I almost said 310 million, and then for some reason I thought it was way higher. Okay.
Right. Well, that is pretty high. I mean, the population of Canada, I believe it's like 30 million. So like
that's what I couldn't remember. What's the population of the world?
I think it's 7 billion. I think it was 7 billion, and now it's maybe 9. But last time I checked, it was 7.
Huh. Okay.
We're gonna Google this after, so we know. When was America founded?
1776, I believe.
Yeah, 1776. Yeah, you got that. I don't even know when Canada was founded. I just know it was July 1st. And what is the capital of America?
The capital of America, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, I gave you.
Okay, see, I did pretty good.
You did really good. I mean, probably because I gave you really easy questions, but no, you did pretty good. Well, thank you so much, Hayden, for joining me today on Country with Celine. It was so awesome getting to chat with you and getting to know you. And if you are all listening and you guys want to check out more about Hayden, head over to his website, which is www.haydenhaddock.com. Correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Hayden, for chatting with me on Country with Celine.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
There's fancier places around, but this is where we always wind up when it's time to wind it down. Yeah, I think it's time to wind it